นูมีคำถามค่ะอยากรู้ว่านาฬิกา2 เรือนนี้มีความพิเศษยังไงคะ
Actually, this is a very special way to tell the hours and minutes.
Okay.
It's a very we call it loud avant-garde kind of style. In my experience, 20 years, we don't see a watch that tells hours, minutes, with the train moving all around. You see the bridges, you see the polishing right in front, you see behind, you see everything. It's almost, we call it a skeleton, but yet you can see the bridge is frosted, very, very well polished. All the gears are beveled very nicely, consistently. The width, the dimension is all very, it's polished. It's very special. What do you think?
Personally, I think this is really a very unique watch. In the sense that if you look at it, it's like a satellite way of displaying time. So when the rate indicators actually show this shows the hour, this shows the minute, and this shows the minute, and this shows the seconds. The problem is a bit hard to see, but it's a very, very interesting thing to look at. Everyone will be like, oh, this is amazing. At my age, it's not so amazing anymore. I mean, it's amazing, but to me, a lot of time when I collect watches, I like to be able to see the time. But I would buy this just for the fun of like seeing it in action, for example, because it moves like a train. And it's like a satellite movement showing like a wandering hour concept, showing like the time. Okay, the hour is here, and then it moves to when the train moves.
Is it possible to show so we can get a close-up shot of that too when you can?
The actual minute is here.
Yeah, so we can do a close-up.
You look at it. Just look at the way it's moving. Like this is the on my right here is the hour hand, right? So look at the interesting way it's actually moving. So it's really a spectacle sight, I would say, and definitely eye-catching for sure. I would say it's just so interesting to look at it. If it can move even faster, it will be amazing. But I think it doesn't have that power reserve to move that fast, things like that. But it's already very interesting like that. Integrated movement, and I believe this is purely in-house, and it has an escapement module as well.
Okay.
So one thing good is when I want to service the watch, it's going to be very easy. They'll probably just exchange the module and then send it back to me, which is very fun. Normally when you send a watch for servicing, what irritates collectors the most is the time.
Time is it?
Yes, the time sent and back. When I sent my Lange back to Switzerland, to Germany, I mean, it took 6 months.
This one,
To service your watch.
Yes. Normal.
And that was the normal. That was the Lange one. It wasn't even the chronograph yet. My friend is sending back the chronograph. It's gonna take a year. So, I mean, it's like one of your most precious watch, and you send it back 10 months later, then you see it. It's like not seeing your girlfriend for 10 months,
Well, die okay, no problem.
So, yeah. Fortunately for a lot of watch collectors, they have many girlfriends. So it's not that bad. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, it's convenient as well. And I agree with Terrence, the finishing is done very well. Of course, at this price point, I would expect very good finishing. It's around 200,000 Singapore dollars estimated, right? So but I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say expensive or cheap, because when I look at watch, I gotta see what is inside. For this, yes, because I'm new to the brand, I would say this is a little bit expensive. But they actually lowered the price. At the beginning, they actually increased the price, but I think they had some economies of scale now. They're able to lower the price to a more sensible level. more rational level, I would say. I think if I have the budget for it, I think a lot of collectors would be going for that. You know, it's very, very nice indeed.
Okay.
Yeah. James?
What about James? What's your opinion on this beauty?
Thankfully for me, the two more experienced person already said most of it.
But what is your, what do you feel about it? Since you have also a unique watch here.
Yeah, I have a
so maybe you can close up on this to see like the difference and maybe
they tell time almost a similar way.
It's gonna follow me home.
But one thing I can say again, let me reiterate what our senior had mentioned, that this is really a quality made watch. It's not like any other watches that you see in the market. It's priced for its quality, okay? And obviously, it's not a regular three-hand or chronograph that you see in the market that are also quite expensive, some of them. It's really unique. It's a conversation starter actually. If you go for a business meeting, wear this watch, you can get to know your business partners, just by talking about watches, and it's a good conversation starter. And also, I think the person who designed this may have been influenced by Chinese culture, because I see a number 8 there, which is prosperity.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So some people who are more Chinese cultured and they are more more superstitious, this is what they want to buy.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Just like maybe vehicle number, people are one specific number, and then now this watch designed in a way with this 8.
Yeah.
They will like the number 8. If they love number 8, if they have the budget to splurge on this watch, then this is something they will consider, right?
Yes, exactly. And there's number 8 behind as well. So double 8.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
So yes, if a collector has a budget for this watch and he has tons of three hands and chronograph, this is something that he wants to buy into.
This one 3 hand.
Yeah. I have a lot of that.
So means this could be my next upgrade line, if that's the case.
Yeah, or something else, like 3 hand or regulator or a wandering hour like this one.
Okay.
Yeah, this is really fantastic.
Cool. Thank you so much. Then what about this second watch? We have it here. Maybe you can get a close up. It's a Ludwig, and personally looking at it, in terms of how it looks, far different in terms of the look.
Yeah.
But based on just these two, how these two differentiate from each other, like in terms of how it looks, like because this one seems to have like more finishing, like what Terrence was mentioning, and this one it may look simple, but it does not cost low either, right? So this watch, any unique part to this watch that also makes it to the list? Anyone?
Winston, you want to start first?
Okay.
For me, if someone would love to, I wouldn't say really go into watches, but really want to start learning. I believe learning is so important, right? So
actually, watches are just meant to tell the time.
Yeah.
In an interesting way. Of course, like normal three-hand watches is very standard. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
But watchmakers are churning out different ways of telling time, and this one is particularly interesting because this is probably the only watch that does it this way, the jumping disc method. So if you look at all the Arabic numerals are actually inverted, if you notice. They're all facing downwards. So there's only one numeral that is facing correctly. That means vertically correct, which is the one with the dot. So at 8, you can see that this is 8. Right? It means that the hour now is 8 o'clock, right?
Okay.
So the hand there is meant to depict the minute. So it's 8:15 now. If you look at it, 8:15. Right? So when it moves, so when you pull the thing all the way to...
Can we get a close up on that?
Okay, pay attention to the 8. Look, it jumps. The 8 is gone. The dot is actually went to the 9 now.
Yep.
It's 9 now, right?
Yep.
So you look at it again. Now I'm moving it. So focus on the 9. So when this hits 60 minutes, 10, right? Then same thing.
So it just keep going.
Yes, it just keep going.
So the dot represents the hour.
Yes.
hand represent the minute.
Yes, and of course there's a sub-second hand and right at the bottom and the clock.
Yeah, okay.
Right? It's a very interesting way. I think Ludovic is the only one that does this time, this way of telling time. And if you look at the disc behind, it's been around for several years already. So for collectors who are a bit worried that it's not, safe to buy yet, I think you shouldn't be. It's been around for many years and it's working perfectly. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of times I understand, because I'm as a watch collector myself. Sometimes when a watchmaker comes up with a new movement, you're a bit concerned. It's like it's same for you. Let's say you buy a new phone. You rather wait for people to play the phone first. You're a bit worried. The latest firmware is maybe a little bit shaky.
Something like the vaccine now.
Yeah.
Maybe the version 2.
So you rather like people try it first, you try it later. So like even for my this watch, it's the same theory. This is the resonance watch. So it has two balance wheel and so on. It actually it's a new complication. I would say it's a new complication. Resonance has been around for centuries. Breguet was the one who discovered it. When you swing, in ancient days they had the pendulum clock.
Yeah.
So when you notice that they are using the same pillar and they swing, after some time they resonate. That means they swing together in the same consistency together. So this is what they're doing it here. So when this thing swing together, you have the time. This is consistent. I lose 6 seconds every day in this watch, without fail, no matter where I am. This is the wonder
6 seconds of the life. It's just ticking off one side.
No, some people say, what's the point? That's not important, But you see, it's actually important. A lot of watch enthusiasts always say, hey, how accurate the watch, how accurate. But to me, watch accuracy is not that important. No. Because watch accuracy is how good the watchmaker is at regulating the watch. But it doesn't say how stable it is. Like I can be in this environment, say I'm here in this room now, and it's very hot, for example. And then I go to another place that's very cold. The watch may operate completely differently.
Fair enough.
Right?
Temperature drops.
So accuracy is affected. But if I have something that I can predict, I can say that, hey, today I will surely lose 6 seconds. Then after 5 days, I know I lost, like 30 seconds. I don't even need to change my time. I know I lost 30 seconds. I'm 30 seconds slow, for example. So actually, watch, how to put it, consistency of time is also very important. It's second to watch accuracy. A lot of people always put watch accuracy as, very important, but it's one of the important things.
It's not the main important thing.
No, it's the main important thing, but it's a twin pillar. It's important because if your time anyhow run, that means it's not regulated properly also, right? True. For example, so or maybe you're in different environment. Maybe you're exercising now, so your watch runs differently, and you're sitting down reading a book. It also runs differently. For all you know. So you lose time. Every day we lose a certain amount of seconds, or we run fast, or your watch may run fast or run slow. But don't you want to know how fast you're running fast ahead or slow ahead? I think that's very important in horology as well. Okay. So this is a very interesting way, back to Ludovic, it's a very interesting way of telling time, and I love it. It's very funky, and I just think that it's definitely something that collector will want to acquire sometime in his life, Terrence?
Okay, I think basically most of the thing has been touched by Winston. He made a very good point that in watches, for collectors, normally we like complication. Like he's talking about resonance, then we have chronograph, wandering, mini repeater, or beyond. Okay, so you look at this. It's a complication, but it's what we term a fanciful complication. Some people say it's not useful, but it's fanciful. Why? Because it's trying to tell time in a unique way. Rather than you see a three hand. Or this is a very special way to tell time. Jumping upside down. That's why everything is upside down. Even the numbers behind are all upside down. even the limiter, the engraving, these are all upside down. Okay, like what Winston has said, it's only the one that is telling the hours is correctly positioned when you jump to the disc. Okay, to do this is also not that simple. Not that simple because the dial itself, you have to be layered. Layer with all the hours, that means multiple layer of dials. This watch is not meant to be looking at the polishing, the finishing, things like that, okay? Because it's meant to be functional, to be able to perform this upside down jumping disc, okay? So if you ask me, it's acceptable. It's really acceptable. Like Winston has said, for the past few years, this is getting better. So I think the technology, the complication is stable. So for collectors who buy, should not have any worry issues because I don't see any issues in this watch in the group, in the forums, in the web, nothing. So it's a very nice piece of watch. It's a two-hand. If I tell me it's two-hand, simple yet unique complication.
Based on you, you're someone who's very good with finishing. What about this finishing overall? Is there some kind of finishing at the end of the day for this particular watch?
Okay, for me, I will look at the case. I'm a very case person recently.
Oh, recently?
Yeah, because I always look at collectors do evolve, do change over the years, 20 to 30 years old, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. So recently, I'm always into case. This case is perfectly made, well made, well polished. The lugs are pretty good, standard size. Ideal size, because this is, I think it's 42, right? So with this kind of shorter lug, is able for smaller wrist like me or even a lady like her. I think she's able to wear it nicely also.
She don't want to go double wrist also.
I think it feels very well, see? Even though it's not a small watch, it's 42.
42.
Another watch for you.
And อันนี้คือลงน้ำได้ไหม can go under the water ลงน้ำ
It's like if
water resistant.
Yeah, it's just water resistant. Just
yeah.
water resistant.
And there is a crown guard, we call it a protector, built in. You see? Can you see this thing?
Can we get a close up on that?
Yeah, he's doing it now.
So it's well made, very well made for the case. I like it.
Okay.
How many hours can go inside?
This one, I think 48 hours, power reserve.
48 hours?
I think for power reserve, it's not very important. I don't know why a lot of people always ask.
Yeah.
How many
watches
hours
do you have? My question.
I'm sorry, what is it, John?
How many watches? Because he's saying about power reserve, right?
Yeah.
Which is very true. He's trying to point that into that direction. Am I right? It's like, how many hours? Oh, 10 days. But do you wear a watch for 10 days, not? You wear he wears like one watch every day, different watch.
Yeah, but
Some
is
people
it,
are going to change watch half the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it a very like a young people or upcoming new watch collector are very into this kind of question? Like, is it a particular concern they want to know?
Okay, the people are going into brands are going into longer power reserve. It's because there are more and more people collecting watches, and if let's say on the average you have 3 or 4 watches, and if your power reserve is 72 hours. Then you can put your watch in the drawer, wear the next few watches, and then after that you still pick up your watch, and then your watch is still moving. You don't need to wind up your watch again. So that's the directions the brands are going, and it's good for people that has plenty of watches.
I would say that it's the other way around for me, because I actually like winding up my watch. I like setting the time. A lot of people don't even set the date properly. There are some collectors who don't even set the date.
Is there anyone here? No. Oh! Self-volunteer. Self-declared.
So wrong. It's not right. As watch enthusiasts, we really need to make sure that we show time properly. Imagine, like, I met people who like, okay, maybe they feel that watch is like the jewelry.
Show your watch.
So
show your watch.
So just for you guys out there, Winston is wearing what particular model is this?
Oh, this is the Over 105, and this is, they call it the Raging Gold.
The Raging Gold.
Raging Gold model. So this is also using a satellite system to show the time, which is very similar to the genus. But of course, it's not as complicated as what genus is doing.
The price?
price is retail is around 120,000.
Wow.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is a very interesting way. I think people always call it the Iron Man watch. Because Iron Man was spotted wearing one of these watches as well.
Okay.
This brand.
He has a collection.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think a lot of geeky people, like they're crazy with Star Wars and things like that. Yeah, I think they buy watches like this. Probably, I'm not sure. You know, because a lot of collectors I know are more into traditional time telling. I think a normal round case with hand showing the time. So it all depends on what you prefer. Because at the end of the day, it's like wearing perfume. No one likes the same perfume for sure. Like I may like this, you may like that. So at the end of the day, it's like it's very personal.
Yeah, true.
So watches are actually very personal to every person. I never criticize people who wear a particular watch. It's very simple. I have no right to criticize. Number one, it's not my money. He bought it. Let's say I don't like his Cartier, for example, but I didn't buy it. He bought it.
Fair enough.
So even I criticize it. Fucker wearing but I won't say it in front of him. You know,
Okay.
I said, hey, it's a nice watch, James. You know, blah blah blah. You know.
That's common courtesy.
Common courtesy. In
Yeah.
fact, actually, Taeny brought up a question about whether these particular watches are able to go in water. I'm just curious, and I also this question also makes me thinking like, why are like divers watch are more slightly more people purchase than, or it's like maybe worth more than a non-diving watch or a non-diver watch? Is there a specific reason behind it? Just because their watch can go deep down water, or generally the market or the culture is divers watch cost more, or like more in demand, like people really want to own divers watch? Is it true or is it not true?
I look at it, it's more like a acceptable standard watch for the mass.
Okay.
Why divers? Divers are meant to last underwater.
Okay.
So it's meant to last the quality, robust. Meaning you can use it for daily use, you can use it for outdoor, hiking, everything. So it fits, it's really catered to the mass of the whole market community. Meaning I think everybody will have a diver or diver-related watch. I think. It's rather than, like this kind of fanciful watch, probably is, 100 out of 200 people, there's only 1 or 2 person have. But I'm sure 5 of us here, everyone will have a diver's watch.
Sure, yeah.
Yes. I think you are wearing a diver's watch. Okay.
At the very least. Huh?
So in short, it really fits and meets the needs of the whole the big segment of this community, the whole community.
Okay, so that could be one of which.
นาฬิกาเรือนนี้นะคะมีความสวยงามจนติดท็อป 10 นะคะWin GPHG Award ในปี 2563 นะคะถ้าหากใครต้องการทราบข้อมูลหรือต้องการดูท็อปนาฬิกาตัวอื่นๆนะคะเข้าไปดูได้ที่ YWCA Facebook Group นะคะแล้วต้องการที่จะติดต่อข้อมูลเกี่ยวกับนาฬิกาเรือนสวยพวกนี้นะคะหลายๆเรือนที่พวกเราใส่กันอยู่นี่นะคะติดต่อคุณจิมมี่ได้ค่ะ
Yep, so in case people don't understand, if you guys want to know about watches, you want to like start making new friends to people who start collecting watches, or you want veterans in this kind of group, you can go to Facebook group YWCA, join the group. That is where you really get a lot of authentic information. Now, if any one of you are really interested, particularly on this watch or the Ludovic, you can also check out the description in the video. We'll list who you can contact. And with that, we want to say thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
สวัสดีครับ